organized by Liberating Nigeria, an online political forum where we talk about political issues based on policies made in Nigeria, and of course, job opportunities, because we are more concerned about the youth and how they can get profitably employed. LiberatingNigeria.com, like I earlier mentioned, is an online political forum with a vision to enlighten, organize, and influence 5 million first time voters by year 2023 and the 20 million first time voters by 2027. Okay, this show is organized weekly to talk about political issues based on policy, and of course, as I already mentioned, job opportunities. And I have with me today engineer Debo Onifade that I'll be referring to as EO subsequently on the show. Welcome to the show, engineer Debo.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's get down to business. All right. There are so many issues happening in the country at the moment, but of course, we'll pick the ones that are salient and very important that concern the Nigerian populace at large. Okay, I'd like us to start from this one. Renowned lawyer Femi Falana and Madam Obi Ezekwesili, senior advocate of Nigeria, Olisa Agbakoba, pardon me, and so many others that I'll be mentioning their name: Yerima Shetima, Funke Awolowo, Tanko Yunusa, Peter Ame, Larry Banjo, and the former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, that's Obadiah my last year, and the former House of Representative Speaker, Gali Naaba, and so many other young people that you would refer to as elites have come together to form a political group that they call the National Consultative Front, NCF. And so they say the main purpose of this group is to embark on immediate mass mobilization of the nooks and crannies of the country for popular mass action towards political constitution reforms that is citizens-driven and process-led in engendering a new people's constitution for a new Nigeria that can work for all. Now, I remember vividly in your book, Rebuilding Nigeria, A Guide to Winning Elections and Reviving Our Country, that you made an assertion that it's high time we had a group like this. So I am basically saying this is like a dream come true for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I like the group, and and I've tried to read about the facilitator. That's what he calls himself. He's a Nigerian professor who I think lived in England for so many years, and but you can see already it's there's already we're already having issues in less than 24 hours after the announcement.
Yeah.
You have Agbakoba that I said he wasn't consulted. Femi Falana is saying he doesn't want to say anything. So this is what I think happened. There is a WhatsApp group. One of them said that, and they probably started chatting. They haven't created something yet. The group has not endorsed publicity, yes, because I'm part of a group like that too. I mean, not I'm kind of passively involved. So suddenly somebody just announces on TV if the formation of a group that has not been formally launched, and I see Sani has said he didn't endorse it. Umar, so I think they have not they have not started on the right foot. I'm excited about it. I must say I love the idea, but it's not exactly the kind of group that I emphasize. I always say you need to have politicians. Naraba is not a recent
Well, the
politician.
former House of Representatives
Yeah,
Speaker is of the group.
Naraba is not a recent politician. He's probably in London right now. Uh, he's not done anything serious in Kano for so many years. You bring Jerima there. What is Jerima? What value is Jerima going to add? So what I see them doing, they just picked a few northern guys that are politicians. I didn't see any southwest politician there. any group. So this is what I envisage. People should have different groups and specialize in an area. Like, for example, I started Liberating Nigeria, and I tell people the focus is clear: educating young people, educating first-time voters, so that we can enlighten them, we can uh, tell them about politics, policies, and then ultimately influence them during elections. Because the electorates today, or the first-time voters today, are going to be the politicians in the next 10, 20 years. So it's good for us to start educating them to see how we can, turn them around, let them think differently from current politicians by providing education. So I'm kind of pushing education out there. I'm publishing articles on newspapers. I wrote a book. I'm doing this show. I'm talking to people. That's very specific. That is not all that Nigeria needs to change the status quo. Some people will have to do other things, election monitoring, strategies about change electoral reforms and things like that. And that's what I think. A lot of bright people need to focus on one, two things, do very well, and then come together as a group. So that kind of group this group we're talking about can potentially be either a focus group or an umbrella group. I'll be willing to join that umbrella group when it comes up. But that umbrella group must include politicians. So if I come to that group and say, hey, I'm focusing on enlightening young people, educating young people, telling them about policies, telling them about politics, preparing them for voting, preparing them for future electoral positions, then I want to join that umbrella group, as a foot soldier and saying, hey, I have 5 million young people that I can influence because they believe me, they trust me as an impartial, as an objective source of information. And I can influence them. I mean, I'm not going to force them, but I can advise on who to vote for. And then I join that group. I meet some politicians. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking for. An umbrella group that brings together good politicians, experienced politicians, as well as, people like us. But when you form a group and you have 95% elites,
Alex.
most of them just like to speak a lot of English, um, and you have just sprinkle it with few northern politicians. Personally, if I have the chance to talk to the professor, I will let him know that. I'm trying to reach out to him to tell him, sir, the makeup. This is not what it takes. It's not bringing. It's not about bringing in the most brilliant. No, it's also about bringing in. We need to learn from the politicians, like I always say. And you don't learn from that have been, I don't think Jerima and Naraba are adequate to properly tutor them, I would say, to advise on politics. So that's my view.
Okay.
I'm excited. I think it's a welcome development. It's not nice that he published without people's consent. I think hopefully that will be corrected. But we need to know: are they a focus group or are they the umbrella group I'm looking out for? Right now, it doesn't seem to me like it's an umbrella group. But hopefully, in the next 1 year, there'll be such groups coming together to form a coalition that can start becoming competitive in politics.
Okay, the question then is because from all you've said, I gather that we are yet to get it right as young people, as elites, and of course new breed politicians. Towards the 2019 elections, uh, likes of Fela Durotoye, Omoyele Sowore, Kingsley Moghalu, they formed what we call a third force. That we thought these people are coming together to push out the old people and then take over. But within months, the force split out. And now we are having another one that we hope that will turn out well eventually. But at the beginning of it, there are issues already that have to be dealt with. So at what point are we going to get it right exactly? What do we need to do?
So the first thing is that we need to have a rallying person. We need to have a leader. I'm willing to submit myself to leadership. The young people in today's, they don't. So I don't even think Obi or Ezekwesili, she has her own group. You have Mogali is not in that group, but he has his own group. Femi Falana is someone I consider a leader. I mean, probably, like everybody knows, Femi Falana, Tunde Bakare, those are people that I consider leaders. My leaders, I would say. That I don't doesn't mean I agree with them all the time, but they are people that I hold. in the highest, high esteem. And the point is that we need to have a leader that's a rallying factor. That was what Buhari has been in the last 10 years. Now, I give you an example. I don't know if let me give Audi Ogbe as an example. If you form such group and you go to Adu Ogbe and say, "Sir, can you be the leader of our group and we will submit your leadership, but we want you to be fair." Adu Ogbe, among the traditional politicians, is one guy that knows a lot. He's a North Central Christian politician, but highly respected all across the country. I put him in my book. The Muslims, the Christians, North, South, is highly so you need somebody like that, or maybe if Tony Bakare was not interested in politics, he is now. He wants to be president. But if he were not, he would probably also be a good leader. You need a leader that is not ambitious, who just wants to provide leadership. But we also have to be ready to listen to that leader. That's the problem we have. So when they try to come together those times, who was the leader? Obi. Obi was not regarded. I mean, I don't see Professor Mogalu seeing Obi Ezekwesili as his leader. No, I don't think Omoyele saw Obi Ezekwesili as his leader. No, you understand. So she was important. She was respected, but they didn't see her as a leader. So she couldn't tell them, Omoyele, you have to stay with this group, right? And you couldn't say yes, sir. No. So we need a rallying factor. We need to submit ourselves to leadership. That's why I said ultimately there must be an umbrella group, which I'm willing to be part of. But that umbrella group must allow independent people to other groups, to form to focus on their own thing. Gani had that. Gani had something called joint. I think I can't remember. Maybe joint action committee or so. Those times you had Gani Fawayemi as the overall leader. Then you had these other groups, several other groups led by so many activists submitted to his leadership. And when there are issues, they will come together and Gani will be the leader. That's what I'm looking out for. When Save Nigeria Group organized events several years ago, people saw Tunde Bakare as a leader, and a lot of groups worked with him. That's what I'm looking out for. We need to identify a leader who will be head of that umbrella group and who we will
Okay.
all be able to listen to. If he says this, we will trust his leadership, agree with him, but that leader must also allow people to focus on their own independent dreams, and then we come together to form a united front.
Okay, let's talk about Festus Keyamo. This is a one-time activist who has now become a politician. He's the current state minister of labor, to the extent of having a face-off with the National Assembly, that's the lawmakers. Now, what do you have to say about activists becoming politicians? Because, well, if you talk about the people who are coming together to form this political body, that's the National Consultative Front. Majority of them, like you mentioned, are elites who we will consider as activists. So what do you have to say about activists who want to transform, okay, into politicians?
So first of all, I'm impressed with Fenstock Kayam. A lot of people are, I mean, even before now, a lot of people have complained about him, but I like him. He has chosen to transition to politics, which is not bad. It's something that I've continued to preach, you know, and he's fighting from within. Now, he doesn't mean he hasn't made any mistakes. No, he has made mistakes, but he's an example we should all learn from. You don't need to keep fighting from outside. Sometimes you get inside the kitchen to fight, and he's got in. People just like to fight and talk outside, and he has an opportunity to fight. And I listened to him after, and I understand his point. He has done a great job to form local committees. What is better than that? Local committees that include churches, mosques, Islamic organizations, I would say,
Market women.
market women, NURTW. That is fantastic. And some people saying, why should he put MC Oluomo, Tinubu's daughter? What are you talking about? These guys occupy important positions in the grassroots scheme. And the churches also, I've been talking about churches again and again, and it's almost as if it's been reading my script. I am so impressed that, Keyamo's group created, such strategy. And For them to have allowed the Senate House to have 10, 15%, that's also not bad. That's politics. Now, for the House now to want to direct his work, I think that's also unfair and wrong. Um, would I have shouted the way he did? Maybe not, but I could, I believe his decision was good. I mean, I don't know if his approach turned out, great, but I mean, there's no reason to shout it. You can remain firm and say, "Sir, I'm not going to talk." That's my, I'm not a combative guy, So, but I support him. I think we should learn from him. Sometimes you join the group, you join bad parties as a good person, yeah, you go there to fight as an activist. So he's a politician, but he's still playing his old role as a fighter.
Now, he is in charge of the government's plan to provide 774,000 jobs to each of the 774 local government areas that we have in the country. Now, this is different from the National Economic Sustainability Plan being headed by the Vice President Yomi Oshibajo. Now, you would agree with me that this is a very great effort that we should laud of the government setting up, creates for our youth. Now, I listened to an interview Festus Keyamo.
Hello, I'm losing you.
Granted the press.
So I will. I'll try to bring you back. Okay, thank you. She's back up. Okay, you're back. Hey, go ahead.
Okay, now he said that the ministers have been given a slot rather of 15%. That's of the 774,000 jobs. Now, I want us to look at it this way. What do you have to say about this plan of the government providing 774,000 jobs apart from the Empower scheme being headed by the vice president? Now, the part of Festus Keyamo claiming that the lawmakers have been given 15% slot of the 774,000 jobs.
So what I don't like is uh, starting a scheme and giving 100% to party members. That is bad. That is evil. But I recognize that in Nigeria, you want to reward politicians. So if you give them small percentage, I would personally overlook that. 10, 15%, allow local people. That's my view. I don't know if it's correct, but I think that's okay. You know, people go to politics, they want to, even in America, politicians get some, opportunities. So, but what is bad is giving 80, 90% to your people, you know. So I'm not against KMO because they had to pass the bill, and you had senators who sometimes want to make it difficult for bills to be passed, and you have to create some incentives for them. So again, I don't have anything against that as long as it's minimal. Let the whole process be transparent. Let it be fair, and I like the transparency. No need to hide it. Before now, nobody talks about it. That 15% is given to XYZ. Transparency is key. What
Yeah.
Keyamo has done is, yes, I have offered them 10 to 15%. Let us all know. Throw it out there. Maybe the local people will
But
contribute.
the lawmakers are saying that he did not offer them any percentage of the job.
Okay,
Like they said, they are not interested.
what do you expect them to say? I believe that because even whether he said that or not, whether he said it or not, they certainly got something. That's how politics works in Nigeria. But we need to give Keyamo credit for being transparent about it. Now, the local people will share it too. So if they start the scheme and the local politicians also share another 15%, and then we have 70% done fairly, objectively. That's an achievement in Nigeria. That's an achievement. What has happened hitherto is sometimes 90 to 100% is shared among politicians. That's bad. And the good thing I must also say is that you can see Keyamo's plan. It's more detail. It's more has been this. How would I say? It has more substance than Professor Shimbajo's plan. I don't know why VP Oshimbajo's team like to talk almost like in parables or vaguely sometimes. There's no reason for them not to be specific. You know, this Keyamo's plan, I like, everybody has an idea of what is going to happen. And it's being publicized. If you read newspapers, you have a clear idea of how they want to accomplish how they want to accomplish this. And he's also said he doesn't want Abuja to be the control center. He wants to decentralize the control. So each state, each local community has control over the funds. That is fantastic. We need to give the government credit when they do well. That is good. But those are things that I want the vice president's team to begin to let us know. They need to be transparent to how much, what percentage will be given to the politicians. Let us know. How would you get the money? What does special account mean? How are you going to determine the farmers, the artisans? Those things will help, ordinary people to strategize on determine how they want to apply. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, because of our time, I would have loved us to do more on that, but let's move over to Madame Ngozi Kunjoyala. Well, we were talking about her two editions.
We're going to talk about endorsement by ECOWAS for the WTO position. So my view personally is that hold on, let me bring you back in.
We're talking about her nomination for the World Trade Organization and the fact that, most of the African countries do not support his
Okay, so let me just go ahead while I wait for you. So for me personally, I don't.
candidates of the West. Now, update on that one. The Economic Community of West African States, that's the ECOWAS, have just, confirmed her nomination. They have supported her nomination for the DG of the World Trade Organization. What do you have to say about it?
So I saw it and I saw I think one I don't know if I got his name, Dr. Joe Abba, I think that's his name, a very renowned political economist, one of those elites, said that when that happened, I saw his tweet saying, now, you know, is she still a Western candidate? And I laughed. For me, I don't support the way Nigeria is going about this. I don't like it, and I don't know if it's the problem is coming from Abuja or from Madame Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. If she's from her, I don't. I think she's being too unnecessarily ambitious. If it's from Abuja, I think we are being unprofessional. Let me tell you what's going to happen. AU is going to come up with a candidate, and again, the reason why Femi Adesina became this is why we always lost out. For many years, Nigeria never became. We never won. We never got a Nigerian as a leader of the AFDB, despite the fact that we're the majority shareholder, because we never got coalition support. We were not good at getting African countries to support us. But this last time, before this first time, Femi Akinwumi, sorry, he got a lot of support. They went to Abuja, they went to South Africa, they went all around the continent, and they got very good support. Now, for a second time, before these recent issues, he was going to go on unopposed. That is how to win elections. But when Nigeria sends, nominates a guy, and then suddenly you pull the guy's name, at a time when AU are taking a position, and then because you have a big candidate, you're pushing that person as an ECOWAS candidate. I think that's unfair to the AU spirit. And I think what's going to happen is that there might eventually be an AU candidate that is different from Okonjo-Iweala, and we will lose. Africa will lose that election if they end up presenting two candidates, ECOWAS candidate and AU candidate. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. And then you end up losing the election to another person. And I'm aware this has happened before, where Kenya nominated a candidate against the African candidate, and Africa lost the election. It's common sense. You know, if AU has been talking for a long time about a position, they have their, candidates, they've been talking. Suddenly, because you have a superstar as Nigeria, you put that superstar in, and you're using your ECOWAS muscle to try to outwit AU.
So you think ECOWAS will not be able to lobby support from the African Union?
I don't think so. And if they do, that'll be unfair. So, I'm thinking that it was the Egyptian guy that the AU was hoping to nominate. That's what I'm suspecting. And because he's the one that is crying the most. Because it's like Nigeria is trying to outsmart them suddenly. And I think that's unfair. I'm a Nigerian, I'm a proud Nigerian. I'll always be a proud Nigerian. But if you use this to knock off Femi Akinwumi from his position, I think it should be very unfair. Because I've read that in different places saying Femi Akinwumi might lose his position. And this is a way for the West, for the Europeans especially, to compensate Nigeria. If that ends up being the case, I think that'll be very, very unfair.
But so far, we've read of major African leaders, past leaders and present leaders, supporting Akinwumi for his second term bid. So
Yeah,
why do you think so much that he's going to lose the position?
I mean, I support him too, but they already set up a three-man committee to look into the last report, which is against the rules and regulation. So you can see the sign already that that guy is probably going out. That there's compromise already from AFDP to do exactly what the West wanted. So I was optimistic some weeks ago, but it seems to me now that he might go. And if that ends up being the case, I mean, it's a rumor right now, but if that ends up being the case, I think even Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala should be ashamed of herself. If she ends up being a European puppet to thwart, Femi Akinwumi's next candidature, and then she wants to now get no. That I don't support that. I don't support that. And Nigeria is even going about it in an unprofessional. Again, it's a rumor. I hope it remains a rumor. But how do you explain Nigeria fielding a candidate and suddenly you pull that candidate, you pull its candidature, you field the other candidate at a time that it's not late according to WTO, but it's late based on AU's plan. And because you're Nigeria, we're a big country. I mean, people do it all over the world, but I don't think I like it. I mean, America, people do that. But I don't like it. That because you're a big country, and you now want to use ECOWAS muscle to push a candidate. And we're just bragging. If we're that strong, why didn't we ever get a candidate to become AFDB president, AFDB CEO until Aki Adesina?
Akinwumi.
Why do I keep mixing his name up? Sorry. Akimi Adesina. I apologize. Akimi. Now, why? The reason was we never got our politics right. We always messed up our politics. Same thing as CAF in sports. Nigeria has never, 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 never made any serious attempt to become CAF president. Never. Because we don't get our African politics right. I know some people envy us, some countries beef Nigeria. I know that. But we also need to learn how to play the African politics right. Now, if we hurt AU members based on what we are doing now, how do you expect AU members to support us in the next election? Because now you're trying to use a big name to muzzle them. Many countries are going to be sitting on the sideline thinking, hey, you know, hey, next time we'll find a way to catch this Nigerian, and they will hurt us in future. So that's my view. I'm a proud Nigerian. I will always support every Nigerian candidate, but I don't like it when we're playing dirty politics. We're playing some politics, that I think might hurt us in future.
Okay, that's all we'll be taking on today's edition of the show. Thank you so much for your time, Engineer Debo Bifade.
Before we go,
Okay.
wait. I see a question. May I ask why the rules as it is to the names are hip hop, ECOWAS, and A? I don't. May I ask what are the rules as it relates to the? Okay, I don't think I understand this question. But anyway, I think I've answered that question. All I've said, uh, Everybody can support whoever they want to support. AU, ECOWAS. People can make that choice. You can go in as a country's candidate. It's all about. But if you go in as an ECOWAS candidate against many other African countries, and
Countries.
that costs Africa the election result, many African countries will be disappointed, and they will punish you next time. That's my issue. If
Okay.
you don't want them to punish us in future, it's important for us to come together as an African. If she gets AU endorsement eventually, that's perfect. But if she goes in as an ECOWAS candidate against an AU
Against
candidate,
the AU.
I think that's not good.
Okay.
Hey,
Thank you so much for your time once again.
take care. Bye. Cheers.
Yeah, if you are very passionate about Nigeria, well, Liberating Nigeria is the platform that you should belong to. Feel free to express your views. Do register on the platforms, of course. Read our articles. We have different forums on the platform where you can discuss whatever issue you want to discuss at your own free will. At your own free will, express your views, express your opinion. And yes, we would also request that you send in your articles to us. Don't bother if you're not very good in writing. All you need to do is be passionate about Nigeria, and we are on the boat together. Once again, thank you so much for watching. My name remains Deborah Yusuf. We'll catch up again next week on the show Liberating Nigeria. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Liberating Nigeria, and of course, join our Facebook group on Facebook, Liberating Nigeria. Do share the video, like, and drop your comments as we'll be answering your questions